New South Wales residents are celebrating the return of dance floors, stadiums and venues under one of the most significant easing of COVID restrictions. Joining me live now from the New South Wales Central Coast is publican and former federal Liberal Minister Craig Laundy. Craig, good to see you. Take us through it in practical terms. What does the easing of the restrictions mean for a business like yours?
That we can have more bums on seats inside, that we can have people for the first time since March standing in outdoor areas and drinking, and still not indoors. It realistically means that come Monday, a lot of furniture that's been stocked up and kept in storage will be wiped down, put out on the front lines, and we'll be able to have more patrons. And the flow-on effect, really pleasingly, is that with more patrons, we need more staff. So whether it's the staff that we have had working reduced hours or staff that we haven't been able to find hours for, and this isn't peculiar to my pubs, this is statewide through pubs and clubs, that with increased numbers we'll need increased staff, and that's a great thing for obviously not just the industry but the local communities.
How big a blow was it today to hear that a New South Wales quarantine worker has tested positive? The Premier there describing it as a serious situation, but one that at the moment is being managed. She's suggesting that the restrictions will be eased as planned, but it is a moving feast, as we all know. What does that sort of uncertainty about the level of restrictions bouncing around do for businesses like yours?
Look, businesses quite clearly prefer certainty. However, we all are completely acutely aware of the fact that this is uncharted waters for government, and Gladys and her team have done an amazing job since March to get us to where we are today. Yes, was the announcement this morning a fright? Absolutely, but I think you'd be completely unrealistic if we're not going to say, especially with people coming back into quarantine, and we still have to have workers, security guards, health frontline workers that are involved and in harm's way, that we're not going to have the odd case here or there. But we have to trust the job that the state government and the health department have done up to now, that they will continue to do so, and the contact tracing will kick in. I see post that announcement that the 5 family members have been tested and at this stage are negative. They'll obviously go into isolation, and the health protocols that have been so successful over the past 8 or 9 months will kick into play yet again.
You were a pretty strong critic of the JobSeeker payments. You said it was stopping, in your words here, people getting off their backsides to go to work. You said people were taking the piss. Have you seen a shift in attitude with payments starting to taper off? The payments are only going in one direction from this point. Yes.
Short answer is yes. At the time when it was at the higher level, it was a challenge to get staff to do the right thing, but that has become less of a challenge as we've rolled on and the government have reduced the support. So my great hope is that as that finishes, and again with these restrictions being eased come Monday, and who knows where they go to after that. Hopefully it's back to business as usual as quick as is physically possible, not just in my sector, hospitality sector, but Australia-wide.
I saw that your son's birthday party led to one of the family's pubs being fined, I think about 10 grand for ignoring restrictions back in March. Were you happy to cop that, or have the fines been over the top? There have been some pretty strong critics of these sort of policies, arguing that we did turn into a police state essentially during COVID and that the fines were over the top.
No, look, happy to cop that one. Wasn't that happy that my son's name was leaked by the department. He's, to this stage, the only patron in the state who's been named. But the pub did the wrong thing. We copped the fine. We've copped several others. I have, I'm working with the department, as all publicans, day in and day out. We're trying as best we can. It has been tough, especially the standing, Ash, in a pub with a drink. It's it's part of an Australian upbringing that's what unfolds. But it's forever getting people to sit down. And at times, there have been departmental officials from liquor and gaming come through and take a stance that I thought was a little harsh. However, we're trying as best we can to work with not just the department but our patrons to make sure that the rules are followed. It can be tough at times, but we've got to do the best we can and ask our patrons to respect the fact that we're not doing it because we want to, we're doing it because we have to. They are the rules and we have to follow them.
Just finally, a lot of our viewers will remember you from your days as Minister for Small Business in the Turnbull government. A lot of small businesses are going to be feeling the flow-on impacts from the China trade row. What's your assessment of how the Morrison government's handling that row? Can you believe that the relationship has become so toxic?
Look, I applaud Scott for standing up in the best interests of our national interests, and I don't anticipate that will change. How China conduct themselves, obviously a matter for them. But on the other side of the fence, Dash, I actually see the lack of international travel at the moment for let's be frank, probably the next minimum 12 months. And the fact that Australians will be going through this either staying at home or staycation phase, I see there are great opportunities, and I think the current Minister for Small Business, there's the traditional shop small, shop local campaigns, but I think there are great opportunities with Australians remaining inbound and travelling around to be conscious of the fact that if they can support and spend in local small businesses, they will employ more people and there'll be some positive upticks from it. So I think there could potentially be a refocusing, if you like, given the travel restrictions, but also, by Australian-made mentality, given if they agree with what the Prime Minister is saying and believe that he should be standing up for our national interests on the world stage, and small businesses could potentially be hurt by it, why don't we invest back in them, locally shop with them, support them, and let them do what they've always done?
Craig Laundy, appreciate your time.
Thanks, Ash.